The game's called 8-Minute Empire, so I figure I can get this all done on one video. I know it's not going to take 8 minutes to play, but it shouldn't take too long. Of course, I haven't figured something out already. Victory points. Victory points in their head. Alright, So what I don't know is what these mean. I can't figure it out. They appear to be victory points. I don't know how they relate. I've read the rules. They're not great rules. But we'll try to play it as best as we can, and we'll see what comes up with it. So, what do you got? You got a tiny little board. There's on the other side, there's another variant with different continents in it. Therefore, it's getting classified as fantasy because this is clearly not Earth. I don't have sort of a fictional, abstracted. I guess I could just put it in abstract because it feels almost abstract. Your goal in this game is to get victory points from using these cards to place and move your armies. Your armies get placed in the start area to begin with. You can expand that by building cities. And I am playing with one of the, I don't know, it's a variant on it that includes these extra goods, just to try to get a more interesting experience out of it, since I probably will not be playing this more than once. So, the game holds between 2 and 5 players. If you're playing with 5, there's some extra cards that go in. You each get a pile of cubes, some cities, and a pile of cash. To play the game, you begin by bidding. Now, this can be important because there could be a very valuable card out here or something. I'm not sure that anything's all that valuable to begin with. At some point the sets become valuable. The wilds are of course kind of interesting because you can match them into any set. But yeah, you know, I'm not quite sure how much bidding is going to intervene. There's one bidding action in the game. It's to determine who goes first, and it's done with a secret blind bid. If there's a tie, I think it goes to the youngest player. No, yeah, the youngest player, and you bid with coins. Now you're going to use your coins to also buy these cards. So starting with the first player, and assuming I didn't bid, that would be up here. I play counterclockwise instead of clockwise just because it's left to right, man, up, down. It makes sense in its own way. Players take turns taking a face-up card. Reminds me a little of Vinci here, which somebody just mentioned, but it had already reminded me of it. It was on my mind. Or Small World if you're not old school, which is basically an expanded Vinci. You have to pay a price in coin for the card you take. The first card costs you nothing. The next two, either one would cost you 1, the next two cost 2, the final one costs you 3. That money, though, just goes to the bank, I believe. The card gives a good and an action. Okay? Well, I see that. A good and an action. I don't know what the hell that is. And I really don't know what it is. The action will allow you to do something on the board. And you might place armies. That'll be something like this. You might move armies. That'll be something like this. It's divided by an or, so you choose one or the other. There's some apparently that are divided by an and. You do both. So placing armies, they get placed in the starting region or in a region where you have a city. And you can split the armies that you get up. Moving armies, you can move that many armies on the board. Well, you can move that many moves of armies on the board, which means let's say you had to move 3, you could move, 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, I guess. Or you could move 3 different armies, 1 space, or whatever. Okay, there is the move over land or water, which will be a lesser amount of movement, but it allows you to cross these dots, which normally you wouldn't be able to move. There's build city, which I don't see up there, but that allows you to drop a city anywhere on the board where you have an army. And you could have multiple cities in one space. I don't know how much value that is. There's destroy armies. You can remove, and I don't see any of those. You can remove an army from the board belonging to any player from any location. No combat or anything. The and or is decided here. After you take your card and play your action, the cards slide forward and a new one is replenished. The game ends when the players get a certain number of cards when they've each taken X actions. In 4 players, which is what I'm going to do, it's 8 cards. Then they count up victory points in their heads, and there's this symbol there. You gain 1 victory point for each region on the map that you control. You control the region if you have more armies than any other player. Cities count as an army for this. You can't destroy cities, I guess, with the destroy army card. I don't know. If players have the same number of armies in a region, nobody gets control of it. You get a victory point for each continent you control. You control the continent if you control more regions in the continent than anyone else. If players are tied for controlled regions, no one controls the continent. And you get victory points for your sets of goods. The amount of victory points for each good is how many cards of that good you have, and it's listed in the middle of the card for 4 amounts. Okay, there we go. There's the value. So carrots have a certain valuation. If you have, I guess, 3 of them, you get 1 point. If you have 8 of them, you get 5 points. That's what it is. All right. And I would assume, we don't have multiples of any one type. So, but they each have different valuation charts on them that you worry about. Whoever has the most total victory points wins. If players are tied, whoever has the most coins wins. Now, it does not say among those players. But then it does say if still tied, the player with the most armies on the board wins. And then if still tied, the player with the most controlled regions. So I think what they mean is to do those as tiebreakers. Now, they have play 3 games in a row. Yeah, okay. Great idea, man. The goods tokens, which I've thrown on the board, these will be additional markers for the player who controls that region at the end of the game. They have an additional bid. And an alternative to the tiebreaker, well, all my players are the same age, so that's not really an issue. Let us look at the cards and see if there's anything that, man, I really want. So, being able to drop 3 more tokens on the board right away does not sound bad at all. The wild cards don't sound bad. I don't know if it's worth bidding a little bit to try to get this. I don't think it's worth much to bid and then pay an extra point for the wild card. It's not that good a movement, especially since you're not on a naval space, so you'd be able to do something like this, but it's not as strong a position. Let me find a die to help me make decisions. I'm going to start this off with, on a 1, players think it's worth at least $1, and then we'll see from there. Okay, nobody wanted to bid. This guy wins the first play. I don't know enough to be able to say much about the value of it, but he is going to take that card. He could look around and say, huh, that's sitting right on the start space. That's kind of cool, actually. And he doesn't have to pay anything, but he does throw more armies on the board. This table has issues. It has a crack down the middle. Not a real crack, it's just a segmentation, whatever, a gap that causes issues. with sliding cards. I should put a board or something under there, maybe. Okay, on to the green player. What do I want to do? Well, I don't have 4 people to move. Neither of these others gives me moves. I'm going to pay $1 to grab this card. Maybe not great. Well, actually, wait a minute. I could move 4 spaces. Never like to spend money, right? I could definitely move 4 spaces. Why not? There are no carrots on the board. Is it worth $1 to be wild? I don't know. All right. I'm never good at making decisions. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just head out. You know, this is really unlikely. I like that better. Okay. Whatever. And we slide down again. Not a lot of thinking going on right here. You can blame me for that, but hey, you know what? Might as well. It's a wild. Wild is good. 1, 2. Easy to do. I might get this done in 8 minutes. How many cards is it? It's going to be close. It's 8 cards a player. All right. To the red player. What do we got? Well, for free, we could do naval movement. The wild would cost us 1. And we could get over here. And that actually looks like kind of a neat place. I'll spend $1 on it. Draw this card and come down 1, 2. Back over. Blue's got lots and lots of cards, lots and lots of movement. I would like to get another anchor. Anchors are far away. But this is not an anchor. This is an anchor. I could drop a city in the start location. That's kind of not valuable because I don't get the extra build capability from it. So we'll just take this. And we get 3 naval movement. Now we have an anchor and a pine tree. Ooh, the hard call. 1, 2, 3. Over to there. All right, carrot. Well, there's a carrot way over there, and it's a city. Ooh. I would like... I like this because it gives me points even though I'm not far away, and it's free. So we'll go out there. Always have a reason to do something, anything, wherever. On here to yellow. Yellow. I could build a city. Well, why not? There's a pine tree here. That's appealing because I got a pine tree here. And 2 of them does me something. But I like the idea of building things up there. Now I have like a capital on that region. So I can build new units there. And that sounds appealing overall. Red's got a wild. Red's all the way over here. I could get a city. That would only cost me 1. Or lots of movement, which doesn't look appealing at all. So I'm going to spend 1 again. And I am going to build my city. That's not the best place for a city comparatively to the other couple of continents that can be expanded on, but and that had to be this one. I couldn't take the carrot. Okay. We're a quarter of the way through the game. Might start needing more thinking soon. Blue. Blue can get another pine tree. Well, why not? That gives me a victory point, and I get some movement, 3 movement. I'll do that. over here. Hey, I got a rock. What the hell? I want a rock. Unfortunately, that gives me my troops here, but, you know, whatever. Rock seems good. Not paying a lot of attention to the other players, it would seem. Yellow. Yellow's over here. I've got a damn anvil, and an anvil is not that useful. I've got a city available for me for free, which I don't really need a city. I could pay 1, get another anvil. Let's do that. And I'll put a pile of troops there. Red has a pine tree, would like pine trees. There's some of these, I'm going to be able to get them. Wonder how you get here. Alright, I'll take this. That cost me $1. I'm spending money like mad with this guy. I get 2 pieces on the board. I'll put 1 here at my city and 1 down here on this anvil, just because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, we're at 3 cards per player. Over here, blue. Blue says, I really like pine trees. Anvils aren't bad. I've kind of lost my edge over in the centerpiece. I could get a city. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. Sure. I'll grab a city, because that gives me production over on that continent. And as players start carving out their holding on a certain continent, you know, that makes it less appealing for someone else to make the effort to get there. Green. Green has a rock. I have lots of rocks. I like carrots. I'm not really fond of most of what's sitting there. For $2 I could get either of these. Huh. Well, I'll pay 2, but I don't know which one I want. Rocks are producing better than carrots. Right? Now these produce a lot of victory points though, but I have to get a higher number. Let's get a carrot. Okay. That gives me 5 movement. That keeps me over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spreading out seems fine because I don't know if somebody's going to go challenge me. You know, if they do, then I have to reinforce, but whatever. Anvils! Anvils for yellow. Yellow likes anvils, and they are not near them. That's a shame. But for just $1, I could get either a pine tree or another anvil. Oh, carrots suck. I didn't want a fucking carrot. I screwed up. Okay. Yeah, I'm having trouble because iconography gives me difficulties. So I've got a number and some shields, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, the number is the number of things I need. So I need 3 carrots to get 1 victory point. Rocks are definitely better, and I should have gone for the rock. But again, brain doesn't process that quickly, and it's an 8-minute game, so I ought to be moving fast. Anvil or tree, which do I want to do? Do I want a lot of naval movement? Not particularly. So I'll pay 1 and grab the anvil. The problem with that is I might be causing other people to go for my tree. I get 4 movement. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. This doesn't give me any particular defensive position, so screw it. Let's do it like that. Okay. Over here, I've got trees and rubies. I like rubies. There's a ruby available. Get 2 more pieces. I'll put them down here. I'm beginning to look really, really potent there. I'm going to need a naval movement, though. Let's put them down here. I feel a little safer doing that. Halfway through, and things are slowing down, and I need a pipe. All right, well, Blue is sitting here and says, hey, there's one of these right there. That is not unappealing. I can do this for land or naval movement. So I'll take that because there are no anvils sitting around there. And I got 4 movement. I'm giving up spaces here. That one I can do. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. What's going on, man? I just denied him. Okay. Took a territory. We're seeing violence happening in this game. Ooh, more trees. Carrots over on green. Man, there's no carrots on the board, but he's got a rock. He could take rocks or carrots. He doesn't have a lot of desire to build anything. That's his problem here. So there's nothing that, this is the first thing that gives me troops to lay down. I'm just going to grab this for the rock. That gives me 3 movement, including naval movement. I don't think I really want to do much of it. What do I have otherwise? I have carrots, I have rocks. This can definitely move. I mean, I think let's do this way. 1, 2, 3. That puts me a little further out. I think that's good. And we slide more options. Buying an expensive card seems harsh, but as you get close to the end of the game, your money's not going to do you any good, you know? Yellow, do I want another city somewhere? Not really. Do I want a carrot? Definitely not. So I'm going to pay $1 and grab me this anvil, which gives me 3 movement. 3 movement. I am interested in anvils. 1, 2, 3. I'm losing track of that anvil, though. But I'm outnumbered up there, and don't know, whether I'm not going to be able to put more forces in. All right, to red. Red says, I like my gems. There aren't a lot of gems on the board. That's probably a balancing thing. So that gem on the board, the actual gem location, becomes even more valuable because it's going to pump me up to a fair number of victory points for just 4 of them. I got trees. Tree would let me put a city down. I kind of want to do movement. I don't really want a fucking carrot. I've already got a tree. Let's pick up an... Oh, and they also make the wild more valuable. Let's pick up this tree. That's going to cost me 2. And I could lay 2 more pieces down, or I could move 3 pieces. Well, someday I need to do this. 1, 2, 3. Another attack. Oh, another gem. Okay. Carrots and trees over here. And anvil. Ow. What are you doing, dude? Tree could give me a city. What's the roll on cities? I just have to have an army there to place it? I think so. Where you have an army. Yeah, I want this tree. That'll cost me 1. I grab this and I drop another city there. All right, green. Green is doing happily with their rocks. They've got 4 of them. That's worth 3 victory points. That's nice. They got a couple of carrots. That's not so nice. Is there somewhere that I want to build a city? Because I got a carrot sitting right here. That would be useful. Why don't we drop a city here for that? And just pick up, we're getting a victory point for carrots. We flip again. We're at yellow. I think this game is probably best if you put a strict time limit on people. Like, you got 30 seconds to take your turn, man. Something like that. Otherwise, you're going to be spending time counting points on everyone else really carefully and trying to optimize your play. And that starts to probably get rid of that kind of light filler type feel. Of course, Carcassonne has that kind of point counting happening on it if you don't put a time limit on it either. So, whatevers. Lots of anvils. I have 4 anvils. That's not worth much. I got a 5th one I could get here. No city, so I can't invade over there. This tree is useless to me. I might wish to leave it. I'm definitely not interested in carrots. I guess I want another anvil. And that gets me either 3 pieces or 4 movement. Put these pieces here. But we're getting close to the end. We're at 6 out of our 8 cards. Red. Red loves it. They've got a gem up there they can buy for 1. That'll get them 4 gems, and they'll be close in trees. They can't get any trees there, so they will buy that. And that gets them 1 unit. Where do I want to put that 1 unit? Put it here. Because nobody's invading me. Another wild card. Second to last card. Okay. Carrots. I may not be able to get carrots. Anvils. Anvils I can probably do. Rock is not very valuable to me. Is an anvil that lets me move 5 units of value. My big score is on trees right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's only worth 3. So, I mean, this is the thing. Because of the different values of the different cards, you have to kind of be doing more math than you think you're doing. Or than I was doing. I have an extra anvil. Yeah, I'd like that anvil. So that's going to give me 5 movement. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with 5 movement. If he would get out of here, I could have that anvil. He doesn't care about it. But that anvil may not be worth much to me. I got 3 of them. I need a 4th one. Got 1, 2, 3. I kind of don't want to move anything, but I could reinforce my anvil. Let's just do that. We may be going back. Green, and we're definitely slowing down at this point. Rocks. I got 4 rocks. 4 rocks is only worth 3 points. That's okay. I got 3 carrots. That's only worth 1 point. I got to get to... Ooh, double carrot. I didn't know there were those. I've got to get up to 5 carrots if I want to get 2 points for that. Is that worth paying $3 for? I don't know. The 3 extra units isn't going to get me much. But on the other hand, I see lots of carrots on the board. How about I only pay $1? I grab a carrot. How much are rocks worth though? because I only get one more card. I got 3, 4 rocks. I could get to 5 rocks. Now, I'm going to pay the 3, and I'm going to buy me that double carrot, because that's such a rarity. And I get 3 pieces. Now, I could just drop these down here. I don't think they're terribly interesting to me there, but are they better somewhere else? We'll put them there. We feel pretty safe there right now. And that gets another card. Oh, there's a wild card. What the hell? That's got to be worth a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yellow has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 anvils. 6 anvils. I need one more anvil. If I could get in there, that would be great. With enough units. But I don't see much I want to do. A wild card would get me that. Do I want to just buy a wild card and drop some more pieces on the board? Or do I want to move some of my pieces? I've got a lot of pieces here. I'm kind of worried about red. Let's just grab that cheap carrot, which gets me 1, 2, 3, this isn't good. 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess. I don't like this. Oh well. That's life. Another damn gem. He's got 3 gems here, a 4th one there. He doesn't even need this one. He's got his wild card on his tree. He doesn't really care. The wild card is worth something though, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. That could bring me up to 4. That's worth another victory point. So another tree could be valuable, which would only cost me 2 to get to. So we'll take that. This is not my last pick of all. Where do I want to put things? I'm worried about losing my gem, but I can get to 4 gems no matter what. There's a lot of space down here, so we'll just play here. Because I'm far from that tree. All right, last card for everyone. Time to do some thinking. I'm going to take another pipe light because it dies so quickly. I should be able to virtually calculate out what's going to happen. And this is an interesting situation. I'm not sure you want a bid to go first because you got to go first in the last round. It might be valuable to grab a card here, but I think there's at least as much of a penalty towards actually going first, which means I don't know what, seating order, whatever. Whoever randomly ends up going last gets a bonus. I think I'd be aiming to go last, even though it doesn't give you as much of a jump. There's no engine here, right? There's these, but it's not much. Okay, let's look at my trees. 1, 2, 3, 4 trees. If I get to 5, that's a victory point. I got a 5th one here. 6 is another victory point. Maybe I want that tree. And that would allow me to put more troops in here. I'm not really sure how much that helps me anywhere else. Carrots, I'm not going to be able to get enough carrots to be worth shit. And anvils, I'm at 2. There are no more available. So in terms of commodities, that tree is my most valuable commodity. I'm going to pay $3 for it because $3 is like just a fraction of a victory point. That only gives me troops to build. Where do I want to build troops? Well, anvils are important to me. Red might move out of there. If I put all 3 of them in here, I might get that anvil. On the other hand, this space is worth a point. This space is worth more than a point. I don't know. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my 6th tree. That's worth a couple of points. I'm going to put 1 here and 2 here. It doesn't give me control of that, but maybe it does something. Because I'm going first, I don't know what the hell is going to happen. All right, to green. Green once. And I could figure it out. right? 2, 3, 4, 5 carrots. I'm not going to get to a 7th carrot, so let's stop thinking about that. Carrots don't matter to me. Rocks. I have 3, 4 rocks. That's worth 3 victory points. Another rock is worth a victory point. So which one of these 2 do I want? Well, is there any reason that I want to move navally? I could take this anvil away from blue. That light's going to go. Or I could do land movement and grab a couple of victory points here. Actually, I could do it with either one. Do I want to take the naval movement away from someone? Is there some reason I'm worried about naval movement? Not really. I'm going to pay a buck. I'm going to let them have the naval movement, and I'm going to take 2 moves and grab these 2 spaces. It's probably 2 victory points to me. And it might be well, it helps solidify the continent. I've been forgetting about continent as a point. Everything's just kind of up in the air. Tons of anvils. 2, 4, 5. I could get a 6th, and I have 1 already? No. I want to get 2 anvils. I probably can't get 2 anvils unless red moves out of here. How much can red move out of there? Well, it looks like at most 2 pieces. Everybody's kind of got fortification cards there. So 2 anvil. So I'm not going to be able to get a 2nd anvil because the only anvil on here builds units. All right. Can I get another anvil? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is worth 1 point. 6. If I can get 1 more anvil, that's a good thing. The naval movement's not fast enough to get me to that anvil. I do not think that there's a way. Well, wait, there's 1 more anvil up here. Sure. I'll pay my $2, grab that. I'll get my 3 pieces, and I will put them, this is unimportant, so I'll just put them in here on the initial location. And now it's the last card, the last player, and they could calculate everything out and make sure they win. But not if you have a time limit, right? 1, 2, 3. I got 4 of them. That's all I need. I have 4 trees by using the wilds on the trees. I have an anvil. Wow. 2 anvils, if I use a wild for that's worth a point. But 4 trees, I'm not going to be able to get trees particularly. What are my options? I can build more units. That doesn't help me. I could do a naval movement. That could get me a point there. Blue may not be doing all that well. I don't know. I could destroy a unit. That would give me the point here, right? Pretty easily. How many trees do I have? 2. Yeah, 4 is worth 2 victory points. 2 anvils is worth 1 victory point. No, 2 anvils. Yeah, 2 anvils is worth 1. Those gems I do not need at all. I don't want them. I could pair up with something else like rocks or something. Oh, okay. What if I stayed here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I've got 2 pieces. What kind of movement can I do with 2 pieces? The best that's available, I can only make it to here. Okay. The best that's available to me is a 2 movement. That doesn't look like it's going to help me. I'm not going to be able to get trees or anything else. Yes, I'm spending efforts on things. I think the best thing I can do is spend 1 and take this damn carrot and destroy a blue piece. All right, we're at the end. It's time to count. Now we have to do this in our head. We're not going to be able to do that. We have to do this on a sheet of paper, which I need to get. First thing I'm going to do to make life easier is I'm going to get rid of pieces that don't control an area. I have 5, 4, so yellow loses these. Blue loses these. Oh, I think I have 7 actually. Wow. Okay. Otherwise, we're pretty much set. So, let's worry about regions first. I'm going to score each player. Like this. And blue has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Green has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yellow has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see there's different pathways here. You can go for the cards, and I think you have to go for all of them at once, but you can go for the cards more specifically. You can go for spreading out more, and we'll just see. 1, 2, 3, only 4 for red. But remember, red has a lot of points hiding, I think. Okay, now we look at continents. Who has the most in any given continent? Well, yellow gets 1 point for that continent. Red gets 1 point for their continent. Blue has 2 out of 3 areas in this continent. They're getting a point for that. And we're pretty sure they're not getting this one. And we look here, and green has that central continent. That was the most effort. Okay. And the final thing is goods. This is where it gets complicated, right? Okay. Let's take a look. Blue is the easiest. The carrot doesn't matter. I'm going to throw that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trees for that one. 6 trees is worth 5 victory points. And I have 2 anvils, 3 anvils, not 4. So what was I at? I was at 5. That gets me 6 more victory points for blue. Green, nothing complicated here. Okay, we'll make sure to shuffle carefully. Carrots, there are no carrots on the board. I got 4 of them, that's only worth 1 point. Terrible. I have 4 rocks, 5 rocks. That's worth 5 points. So 6 points for green. Looking remarkably like just the territories is going to win it, right? Yeah, we got people with wild cards, though. Oh, you know, I should be looking. Blue had the extra anvil. They couldn't do anything with that. But blue, green. I'm just making sure because somebody could be sitting on, like red is sitting on an anvil that they have no cards for. So I got to keep that in mind. Okay, I got 6 anvils for yellow. That's worth 3 points. I can make that up to 7, and I bring it to 5 points. My carrot's worthless. But all that effort on those anvils, it got me 1 point less than people who are working in rocks and carrots for all. That matters. Alright, now the guy who's going to get the most off of these. First of all, I got 4 of these. That's worth 5 points. That's pretty good. Make it a 6th point there for that tree. And 2 anvils is worth a point. That makes it a 7th point. I can't get an 8th point. I could juggle around and put 2 on the tree or put 1 here. 2 on there, but the most I'm going to get is that 7 points. I don't see another way. I get the anvil, I get nothing else. Okay, so there's an extra point there. So red not spreading out into as many territories and focusing on these gems, which were the most valuable, and the wild cards did not do them as well as one might hope. So we gotta try to write. It's hard to write on this table. 12 for that, 14, 15 for green, 11 for yellow, and 12 for red. And what we're seeing is spreading out into easy territory worked pretty well, and just grab shit that works for you as you do it. No guarantee that's going to work best every time. Like I said, I think there's a lot of flexibility and a lot that one can do here to play around and get different mechanisms to generate points for them. Be back in a minute with a review. Minute Empire. Okay. So I have no idea how I got this. I'm not certain how I got it. I have this vague idea that maybe it was a throw-in on a purchase, or it was a very cheap additional game that I ordered. But I have an idea that it was something that got thrown in, but it's not on my charity list. So I'm a little confused. I expected this. This is not the kind of game that generally I would have picked up, and I got it recently enough that that I'm a little confused by that. All right, that said, I think this is a damn near perfect filler. It's not pure luck at all. It's got a Vinci type of play where you're selecting cards up from the top. You're moving pieces around and doing stuff, trying to get that area control for the end of the game, trying to get your sets. You have multiple different things that you're working towards at the same time. Mainly control of territories and control of and dominance in a set, but also the dominance in the continent. You have a limitation in terms of, it's an absolute limitation. You only have however many bucks you start with, which is different in different number of players, and that's how many options you have on cards. You spend them early, you might find yourself really screwed late. But if you don't spend them early, they're just sort of a late tiebreaker in the ordering, right? Let me see. Well, no, it's the first tiebreaker, so that's kind of cool at least. Its capacity to hold between 2 and 5 players looks like it's going to work pretty well in anything. It might be a little iffy. 2 players has a special rules where you put some dummy counters out there to make it a little harder. I wouldn't imagine. I think it's going to work better in that 3 to 5 range. But if you're trying, if you're sitting around waiting for somebody to show up and you got maybe 15 minutes, you don't know, hey, this is just about. It's real short. You're probably not going to get in that 8-minute time limit. If you're looking at the scenario I looked at, it's 8 cards per player in 8 minutes. That means you have 15 seconds a turn if you want to put it on a timer. That might be tough. But if you're really engaged and engrossed and planning your turns and everything, you might be able to do it. What else? Size of the box is, well, not quite as small as I like for my coffee table game boxes. You can't just throw it in your pocket like you could with like the Steve Jackson games or something. But, in the modern era, there aren't such things. As a filler, that's fine. You can tuck it in your bag of games that you're bringing, or you got it on your shelf or whatever, and it's perfectly fine as a filler. But what if you were just to bring it to a coffee table, to a coffee shop type situation? It's a little big, fit in a big purse. You could, if you got a small stack, if you got a couple of small games or whatever, you can certainly throw it in a bag or something. But it's not that ideal little size that you can just tuck in a pocket and kind of play anywhere. You do have to make some effort to know that you're going to be playing a game. Components, cards, modern cards are fantastic. Nothing, great to say about it beyond what we're seeing there. Two different boards, just to give you a little bit of variety in it. I mean, cubes, what can you say about cubes? They all appear to be about the same size. That's not often the case. I like the rules with the extra trade pieces. I think that's a nice addition. It helps drive your actions towards specific things as you get certain cards, etc. And I just feel like that adds to the fun value in it. Yeah, but overall, I would say I'm really happy to have this thing, Red Raven. Now, I know there's a number of expansions to it, and for that, I kind of look to like Carcassonne, which is about the same size as in terms of the box. It takes up a lot less table space though, which is a definite bonus. Carcassonne has a number of expansions to it. I kind of shy away from them. My feeling is, if you've got this, great simplicity in a filler type game, why do you want to add all kind of crap to it? Personal tastes there, but yeah, it feels like the idea of like trying to create a big franchise out of a little tiny game may not work terribly well. I don't know what the expansions are like, and what they add to the game, but if they're like Carcassonne where they're adding different scoring opportunities and stuff, man, you got to really be playing the hell out of the game to want to do that, and I can't really see wanting to play this more than like once in a night, and that's true with most fillers, unless there's something really lacking there. There's a lot of room for clever decisions to be made, a lot of room for balancing out the value of things. I think the game would be best when played under kind of a tight time limit because, especially if people know the game, you might want to give longer amounts of time to people who don't know the game that well, to give them a little bit of time to figure out, the interweaving and balancing between the different options. But yeah, I think that kind of play would work really, really well. I could see this thing getting really bogged down with people counting up everybody's points, trying to figure out the balancing and trying to figure out how they can eke out just a little bit more and whatever. There does seem to be a definite advantage to going late in the turn, just late in the order, so that you get that last licks in. Especially if you can calculate everything out, because then you can figure out exactly what do I need to do to win, who do I need to take a point away from, what can I do to balance that out. But on the bright side, most of the cards don't allow you to do a whole hell of a lot, so you're not going to be able to really shift the points too much from one person or another. Anyway, I think it's a fine game.